Hey, what's up everybody? NFX here. In this video I'm going to attempt to make a new track that I'm going to upload to Suno and have some vocals generated for the track. I know I've shown this in another video, but in this one I'm hopeful that it'll come out a little better because the one I showed previously, it was more like to show you what I'm doing, and the track itself didn't come out as good as I wanted it to, so I'm hopeful that this one will turn out better. If you're watching the video, it means it turned out good enough for me to release it, so hopefully that's where this one's going. Alright, so I'm in a new empty track, and the first thing I want to do is add just some type of a chord progression. To do that, I'm going to go to one of my favorite plugins, which is a guitar plugin called Strum GS2, and I'm just going to use the default patch. It's an acoustic guitar, and I kind of have a chord progression in mind already, and it's going to be a simple chord progression. I'm going to go ahead and click it in. The way the Strum works is I can actually use the full chords or a shorthand to put the chord in. So let me go ahead and do that in the piano roll. For the first chord, I'm going to make it an A. Well, this is going to be in an A major scale. Let me turn on auto strum. So it's basically going to go A, B, C sharp, and then back to A. So if I play this loop here, it sounds like this. Actually, this one needs to be a minor. To make it minor, I just add a black note to that key. So the way this plugin works is it'll play the major unless I add a black note below it. So now it'll go A. Well, you know what? Let me see. Can I put how do I put the I do not remember how to put a marker in here. Here we go, time markers. Add one. Alt T. Okay, my bad. Okay, so we're going to go A major. Then we're going to go B major. Then we're going to go C sharp minor. And then we're going to go back to A major. Whoops. Okay, so let's just hear that now. Okay, so that's basically it. I think it's a little fast. Let me lower it a bit. Let me lower it to maybe 104. That's about a good tempo of what I'm thinking about. Okay, so there I have my drum strums. Okay, and we can repeat that a couple times, but before I continue, I want to also add a basic bass line to it. So let's go to flex for that. There's a flex under essential bass guitars. I've been using this 5-string bop bass a lot. It's a good solid bass sound. Um, it does the job. Let me go ahead and go in there. Now this one, we're just going to follow the root notes. Let me just find the right octave. Right here's where we want to start. So we want to do that. Then B, C sharp, back to A. On this one, what I might do is do something like this, just to give it a little more just to give it a little more life. I don't like it holding out the note that long, so we'll shorten these first notes and then we'll add a little thing like that. So we'll do something like this. Very basic. Okay, we'll just roll with that. Let's hear them together. Okay, so it's basic, but that's all I want. And the reason is when the Suno goes to generate the vocals, I don't want to saturate it with too much of other things happening in the song. I want Suno to be able to detect the tempo and the chords clearly so that the vocals come out in the proper key. So that's basically what I'm attempting to do. But I will add a little bit of extra to it in a minute. I just want to get the basics down. Let me go ahead and rename some of this stuff. For the strumming, actually, I'll go ahead and add some strumming in here. Right now it's just playing one strum on each measure there. But the way this plugin works is I can do upstrokes and downstrokes and mutes and other things. So I'm going to basically try doing something like, let's see. Let's just hear what something like this. Okay, now that's a little too boring. Let me go like that. Maybe these are downstrokes. Maybe throw an upstroke, another downstroke. Yeah, some kind of pattern like that. It sounds like a strumming pattern. Okay. And you know what? I'm just going to copy that and use that across all of them. At the end here, though, I wanted to do a little extra. So let's put in an upstroke there. That might work. We'll do the same thing there. All right, let me just hear it. I think I'm going to go something like this. just to make the before it loops a little more interesting. But that's good enough. I don't want to get too complicated with that. So we have that. We have the bass. Now I'm going to add just a simple drum beat. We'll go ahead and load something like the Real Drums #1. It's not the greatest, but for me, it's a good starting position. I use it sometimes just as a starter when I don't want electronic drums. So let's go ahead and go in here, and we'll click them in. We'll probably do something like kick on the first of every beat, and this snare. Just like so. You know what, I want to make these louder. So the first bar, I'm going to do it like that, and then I'll do the same with the third bar. And we'll figure out the... So that's good enough. Let's add some hat. That hat I don't like a lot, but it's what I have to work with in this kit. So what I'm going to do is the following. I'm going to do this thing where I lower these a bit. Then I'll take those, move them there and lower them some more. And then copy those like so. So it's passable. Even though I don't like the sound, that's okay. I'll actually probably lower that in the FPC. Let's lower that. Actually, let's lower those two and we'll use the first sample. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so there's the basic drums. I don't want to do anything. Well, actually, you know what? Let's add a fill just at the end here. Maybe some toms. And some snare. Let's see how that sounds. Good enough. It's just to give the AI a cue as to that's kind of the end of the thing. Actually, what I should have done is made one without it. So let me clone that. Go back up here. I'll remove this. And then I'll have one with it and one without it. So it'll be something like this. These two I'll repeat. And now the only other thing I might want to do is add a little bit of a melody. And one of the things I've kind of been doing recently is trying to just come up with a short, simple melody, not trying to make it too long in terms of, you know, how many bars it is. So I'm going to try to make a 4-bar melody, but I'm going to use another strum for this. So let me add another strum. And I'll need this one in keyboard mode. I'm going to change it to a slightly different guitar. And my pitch wheel is not connected, so let me just do that real quick. And same for the mod wheel. Okay, so now I can play with that a little bit. So that first chord is an A major. So let me see. Let me kind of do a slide from the B to the C sharp. The C sharp is in that chord. So it's the third, so I could do it like that, or but my keyboard's moving all over my desk right now. It seems slippery. Let me just do it in the piano roll. Where am I? Okay, so I'm going to go like that. This is supposed to slide, but for now I'm just going to use it like this to get a sense of what I'm doing. Wrong notes. Total wrong notes. There we go. So I kind of like the way that sounds right there. But where do I go from there? Let's see. Maybe back down to the A. Yeah, that might work. Then to the B, because I know that second chord's a B, right? So I'm playing it with my keyboard again. Let me see. Let's go down from there. We'll hit the A, G sharp. Where did I go from there? E. Oh, yeah, well, this needs to be held a bit longer. Maybe I should go to the F sharp there. Yeah, that sounds better. That sounds much better. And then to the E. Yeah. And then let's do this again as a kind of a motif, if you will. Meaning it'll just repeat kind of as a callback to the first part. And then from here, Okay, so let me try something here. So we'll go there, and then we'll go to B. Then we're going to do this same kind of, although this is not really sliding, it's working for my ear. So let me just try doing something like this to get me to the F. Maybe something like that. That does not sound right. There we go. And then to me it sounds like it wants to end on the E. Maybe here. It's close. It's close. Maybe this needs to be over one. Let's turn that down. Oh yeah, we're getting closer to it now. This. This sounds like it's hitting just a little bit too late. Let's move that over. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Let me do Control L just to bring everything out. I'll probably shorten some of these because I don't want them all that long, really. At least not this one. This one, I want it to overlap just a little bit. And this one I want it to overlap. And this one I want it to overlap. Yeah, there we go. So that's what we use for the melody. You know what? Maybe what we'll do is we'll copy this. And we'll have the melody play. Actually, I'll do it like this. So we'll have 4 bars of the kind of without the melody and then 2 bars with the melody. And what I'm trying to establish here is kind of like the song without the melody, and the melody's just kind of accenting. I do have the fill here at the end of the first 4 and then at the end of the 2 with the melody. And I think this is going to be enough for a starting point. Let me just call that lead. Call those chords. Just to keep track of everything. Props to the guy in one of the comments of one of the videos I uploaded who told me that middle click brings up the rename and recolor for stuff. I used to do shift click, but middle click is definitely better. Okay. So let's just hear it one time through. This is what we're going to work with. I'm going to make a loop of this and export it in a second if it sounds okay. I'm just going to take another listen real quick. Yeah, so that part I do like. I'm going to start it here right before the fill, and then listen to the melody parts again. You know what? Something struck me here. This note here, for one, it's hitting a little later than this note here. This note and this note are kind of supposed to hit in the same time, and I like it on the second part where it hits a little sooner. And now I'm wondering what it's going to sound like as a B instead of an A, but let me just... Yeah, I like how it comes in a little bit quicker. Yeah, maybe it sounds better as an A there, because we are in the A chord at that moment. So I'll leave it. Let me back this up just to hear it again in context. Yeah, I like that. Okay, one thing I'm going to do here though is I want to layer this with something else. It may or may not work, but bear with me. I'm just going to go to the essential guitars, to the nylon guitar. Let me copy that. And let me hear that alone. Whoop. Okay, it's hitting at maximum volume here, which I don't really want, because at maximum volume, the way the flex guitar is it will slide into the note. So it might work for the first one, and it might work for this one, and it might work for this one, but not for the rest of these. So let me bring those down. You know, I don't know. I might manually, I think I'm going to manually do the slide. Let me go back to this. I do need to lower it so it's not doing the slide, and then I need to go into the instrument, go here and here, tell it to do mono. Now it'll play a slide when I play a note legato, which is how I'm playing this, this, and this. That's why I made these shorter notes a little longer so that they overlap. That's a legato, and it'll slide into those notes. But it won't slide into these other ones, or at least it shouldn't. Okay, this, oh, it's still too loud. I guess I didn't accept it. Now it's a little too soft. Let's try to find it. Now this one sounds a little late to me. I think I would like that one earlier. Let me go fix that up here. Okay, let's try it again. Yeah, close enough. I'm going to turn it down a bit. I'm going to move it to the same channel as the lead above. And you know what? Let me try this one down an octave. That is a loud instrument. Okay, let's hear it in context. Yeah, that sounds good. So we're going to leave it at that. One of the things I want to do is let me think about this for a minute. The overall vibe of this is somewhat happy. Uh, what what could this be about? When I name things, I like to give them a name that kind of reminds me of what the music kind of sounds like. Maybe we'll just use the old cliche of like, doing something in the summertime. You know what I mean? So let me just Control N. I'll call it summer vibe for now. We'll hit save, and now we have that. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to export it. And I'm going to export it into a wave. MP3 adds a little bit of extra data to the beginning of the audio, which could cause it to not loop exactly correctly. And I don't want that problem. So I'm going to export these 24 bars into a wave file. All right. So now that I have that, I'm going to meet you guys over in Suno, or, wait, you know what? We probably need some words for this too, though. I'll meet you guys in the next part of this song. Okay, guys, so here we are in the next part. And in this part, I have a text editor open here. And I have some lyrics in here. Basically, since we're going for a summer vibe, I decided to make it about summers where I live, which is in Southern California. Although it's not summer yet, it's spring right now, but today was a great day outside. It felt warm, felt nice, so I'm a bit inspired by that from when I was outside walking my dog. So what we're going to do is we're going to make it about SoCal or Southern California summers. We'll talk about a few things about Southern California summers. I'm going to be pasting this in, but you can see I have it set up to where it's in the proper format for Suno, where I have the song part in square brackets followed by the text. For example, there's verse 1, there's a pre-chorus, there's the chorus, there's verse 2, etc. Some of these places I put extra commas if I want it to pause longer there, rather than, say, for example, this line, one kiss under starlight. I want it to kind of pause and then say, yeah, you, as opposed to one kiss under starlight, yeah, you. So hopefully that does that. One of the things with Suno is it's a bit unpredictable. I mean, I've used it enough to where I have little tricks that I can try. But I've got basically two verses, a pre-chorus, a chorus, a short bridge, and then an outro slash hook, which is, hopefully it's going to sing it similar to the chorus, but we'll see how it comes out. I mean, thing about Suno is I don't have any real say on how the melody of the words go. So what we get. The good thing about Suno is I can run it many times through until I get something I like. Okay. So in this case, we're going to select it all. and we're going to copy it. And then from here, I'm going to meet you in the next part, which is where we'll have Suno loaded and on the screen. Okay, so now I have Suno up. I do have enough credits this month so far that I can do some serious work with this one. Okay, so I'm going to go to create. And this interface is different than before. Probably the last time I recorded, the interface was different. So I'm still getting used to this one a little bit. They introduced something called workspaces. So I'm going to go ahead and hit new workspace. And I'm going to call it SoCal Summer. We'll create that workspace. And basically what this will do is it'll keep all my work for this one song within this one workspace. Up here's where the name is. That's the name of my old song there. SoCal Summers. Something like that. I may ultimately change that name, but for now it's enough for me to remember what it is. I'm going to paste the lyrics in here. There's all the lyrics. For the style, I'm going to say pop. Now, because I've already played the instruments, or because it's there, this style doesn't have a big effect. It can affect sometimes the type of singer that's on it. But if I was to maybe call this a trap version, I don't know that it would change very much because the music's going to be there already. I don't want to exclude anything. Oh, but I do want to upload that song, right? So here I can go to add audio. And let me find that audio. Oh, it's called Summer Vibe, right? So maybe I'll change it, but no, you know what? We'll leave it. Let's go ahead and save it without trimming. It's generating an image. Have to wait for it to do this. I think it's taking longer to generate the image. Hopefully the system's not down. There it is. I will confirm and save. And there it goes. So now you can see it's put that in here. And what I want to do is extend it. So it's already selected extend. So what extend means is it will take my song and it will kind of reuse it. But at the same time, it will attempt to put the lyrics that I put here in there. Now I have what's called a pre-verse here, and then it goes into the verse. And the reason why I do that is the pre-verse will act kind of like an intro to the song, if you know what I'm saying, like, which I want before it actually starts doing the first verse. So when I hit create, I think that's everything. Yeah. So I'm going to hit create, and it's going to pop 2 songs here that it's creating, and then we'll wait for it to finish and we'll take a listen. When I hit play over here, these are some lyrics I was messing with on something else, but these will go away and the other lyrics will show. Okay, so let's go ahead and hit play on the second one here, and let's just hear what it's going to sound like.
Top down, breeze blowing through the palm trees, sipping on freedom, living wild and carefree. Feet in the sand, backseat full of laughter. We were chasing time, never worry about after. Sundays, heat waves, dancing off the blacktop. Tunes blasting, got the whole coast on lock. Venice to Laguna, every stop a new story. Rolling with the day like it's made for glory. Then I saw you, sun in your hair. Eyes like the ocean caught me unaware.
I'm going to stop it right there because already I don't like it. It didn't even do the pre-verse. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes it does what it wants to do. So I'm going to check out the next one.
Top down, breeze blowing through the palm trees, sipping on freedom, living wild and carefree. Feet in the sand, backseat full of laughter. We were chasing time, never worried about after. Sundays, heat waves dancing off the blacktop. Tunes blasting, got the whole coast on lock. Venice to Laguna, every stop a new story. Rolling with the day like it's made for glory. And I saw you, sun in your hair. Eyes like the ocean caught me unaware. One smile, I forgot where I was going. Heart skipped when the tide started flowing. Yeah, summer nights in SoCal, ride or die with my crew. Fell in love on a detour, never thought I'd find you. Bonfires and moonlight, feeling brand new. One kiss under starlight, yeah, you. Late night tacos, headlights on
Okay, this one I kind of like the verses, but I don't like the chorus. So, you know, that's just how it goes. I'm going to hit create again. Now, I don't know if I'm going to fast forward through this part, but basically I'm going till I hear something that really catches me in terms of the overall flow of everything. Sometimes I'll hear a chorus I like, but I don't like the way the verses go, and vice versa. So I could choose, you know, to use parts from different takes. One thing you might notice is it does add a little bit of its own musical flair and changes into it. It's not just using my loop, it's actually taking parts, musical parts out, or adding some musical parts as it goes through the song. And that's just how Suno works. But the key component is these lyrics should be, for the most part, within the key of the song I created and flow with that song as well. So I'm going to listen to these next two.
Top down, breeze blowing through the palm trees, sipping on freedom, living wild and carefree. Feet in the sand, backseat full of laughter. We were chasing time, never worried about after. Sundays, heat waves dancing off the blacktop. Tunes blasting, got the whole coast on lock. Venice to Laguna, every stop a new story. Rolling with the day like it's made for glory. Then I saw you, sun in your hair. Eyes like the ocean caught me unaware. One smile, I forgot where I was going. Heart skipped when the tide started flowing. Yeah, summer nights in SoCal, ride or die with my crew. Fell in love on a detour, never thought I'd find you. Bonfires and moonlight, feeling brand new. One kiss under starlight, yeah, you. Late night tacos, headlights on.
This one I like. This one I like. It sounds a little more country than maybe I wanted to do it. So I'm going to listen to the next one. But before I do that, I think I'm going to go to exclude styles. Put country in there. That should hopefully take a little bit of the country edge off. But the other thing I could try is instead of pop, we'll do like a pop punk, which might give it a more California vocalist type vibe. We'll just see what happens. But these are going to create while I'm listening to the next one.
Top down, breeze blowing through the palm trees, sipping on freedom, living wild and carefree. Feet in the sand, backseat full of laughter. We were chasing time, never worried about after. Yeah. Sundays, heat waves dancing off the blacktop. Tunes blasting, got the whole coast on lock. Venice to Laguna, every stop a new story. Rolling with the day like it's made for glory. Then I saw you, sun in your hair. Eyes like the ocean caught me unaware. One smile, I forgot where I was going. Heart skipped when the tide started flowing, yeah. Summer nights in SoCal, ride or die with my crew. Fell in love on a detour, never thought I'd find you. Bonfires and moonlight, feeling brand new. One kiss under starlight, yeah, you. Late night tacos, headlights on PCH.
This one I actually like quite a bit. I'm going to thumb up that one just to remember it. It definitely stopped and said the yeah you part the way I envisioned it in my brain by putting those extra commas there. Again, it's a little more country, but you know what? The overall flow of it just seemed to hit a little bit better to me. Let's see if these pop punk ones with the minus country style come out better, but I'm going to move forward with it.
Top down, breeze blowing through the palm trees, sipping on freedom, living wild and carefree. Feet in the sand, back seat full of laughter. We were chasing time, never worried about after. Sundays, heat waves dancing off the blacktop. Tunes blasting, got the whole coast on lock. Venice to Laguna, every stop a new story. Rolling with the day like it's made for glory. Then I saw you, sun in your hair.
I'm going to stop it there. It's kind of similar to the previous one, but just not as good. Also, it's not saying my pre-verse, which I'm a little bit wishing that it would, but I'm not sure what I can do. Let me go up here and I'll change this from pre-verse to intro. Maybe then it'll use it. I'm going to hit create. Actually, I'm going to go back to pop. I'm going to hit create, and while that's creating, I'm going to listen to this next one here.
Top down, breeze blowing through the palm trees, sipping on freedom, living wild and carefree. Feet in the sand, back seat full of laughter. We were chasing time, never worried about after. Sundays, heat waves dancing off the blacktop. Tunes.
Again, that one, I don't know. It's just there's no life in the delivery there that I'm feeling. So I'm gonna stop it. So these other two came in where I changed it to intro. Let's see. Hopefully it'll say this part. I kind of want that part to be said as an introduction. Let's play.
Top down, breeze blowing through the palm trees, sipping on freedom, living wild and carefree. Feet in the sand, back seat full of laughter. We were chasing time, never worry about after. Sundays, heat waves dancing.
No, it's kind of the same. I mean, a lot of these are coming out very similar. With the verse part, the intro or the what I was hoping would be the pre-verse is just not being sung at all. I'm not really sure what to do about that. Maybe if I call it just verse, it'll sing that part first. And we'll see. We'll see. I'm going to go ahead and hit create, and then we'll listen to the second of the previous version.
Top down, breeze blowing through the palm trees, sipping on freedom, living wild and carefree. Feet in the sand, back seat full of laughter. We were chasing time, never worried about after. Sundays, heat waves dancing off the blacktop. Tunes blasting, got the whole coast on lock. Venice to Laguna, every stop a new story. Rolling with the day like it's made for glory. Then I saw you, sun in your hair. Eyes like the ocean caught me unaware. One smile, I forgot where I was going. Heart skipped when the tide started flowing. Yeah, summer nights in SoCal, ride or die with my crew. Fell in love on a detour, never thought I'd...
Don't like the chorus on that one. All right, so you could see how many I've generated, and I've generated probably 100 for one or two songs. This can be a long process. I do really like the one down here. I may go back to that. Let me just listen to these last two, and then I'll make a decision.
Top down, breeze blowing through the palm trees, sipping on freedom, living wild and carefree. Feet in the sand, back seat full of laughter. We were chasing time, never worried about after. Sundays, heat waves dancing off the blacktop. Tunes blasting, got the whole coast on lock. Venice to Laguna, every stop a new story. Rolling with the day like it's made for glory. Then I saw you, sun in your hair. Eyes like the ocean caught me unaware. One smile, I forgot where I was going. Heart skipped when the tide started flowing. Yeah, summer nights in SoCal, ride or die with my crew. Fell in love on a detour, never thought I'd find you. Bonfires and moonlight, feeling brand new. One kiss under starlight, yeah, you. Late night tacos, headlights on PCH. Your hand in mine, didn't want to turn the page. Dancing in flip-flops, strangers.
Yeah, this one I kind of like it, but I didn't like the way it said the yeah you part. I'm gonna hit the thumbs up just so I remember to listen to it again and maybe break it down. I'm really disappointed it's not playing the first 4 lines that I have in here. I'm not sure why, to be honest. Maybe if I trick it into, instead of saying verse 1, I'll put a fake intro up here, and it'll kick into this verse and then go into this verse. Because I really wanted to say that first part. I'm going to hit create and then listen to the second one I just created previously. This is the reason why I do this, is just can create while I'm listening, and I don't have to wait for it.
Top down, breeze blowing through the palm trees, sipping on freedom, living wild and carefree. Feet in the sand, back seat full of laughter. We were chasing time, never worry about after. Sundays, heat waves, dancing off the blacktop. Tunes blasting, got the whole coast on lock. Venice to Laguna, every stop a new story. Rolling with the day like it's made for glory. Then I saw you, sun in your hair.
Don't like that one at all. Let's see, the one I liked the best, it was just pop. Okay, so let me take a listen to these two, see if I tricked it into saying what I wanted it to say in the beginning.
Top down, breeze.
Nope.
SoCal summers keep you going. Music bumping on the radio, I'm feeling. Uh-oh, I'm feeling. Top down, breeze blowing through the...
Okay, that time it did say those first few lines. The thing is, it didn't say I'm feeling it. It said I'm feeling, and that's not what I wanted it to say. But because it did create that, I'm going to try again. Give me 2 more. And hopefully I get that first part. So I don't know how many's in here already, but you can see that it's not you hit it once and you just get these words that are perfect. You kind of have to work with the system a bit.
Top down, breeze blowing through the palm trees, sipping on freedom, living wild and carefree. Feet in the sand.
Okay, this one did not say that part.
SoCal summers keep it going. Music bumping on the radio, I'm feeling it. Oh, I'm feeling it. Top down, breeze blowing through the palm trees, sipping on freedom, living wild and carefree. Feet in the sand, backseat full of laughter. We were chasing time, never worried about after. Sundays, heat waves, dancing off the blacktop. Tunes blasting, got the whole coast on lock. Venice to Laguna, every stop a new story. Rolling with the day like it's made for glory. Then I saw you, sun in your hair. Eyes like the ocean caught me unaware. One smile, I forgot where I was going. Heart skipped when the tide started flowing. Yeah, summer nights in SoCal, ride or die with my crew. Fell in love on a detour.
Okay, this one actually said it. I'm gonna hit the like, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mark this one. Where is it? By changing the title of it. Did I not hit it? Let me see. And then what I'll do is I'll grab the intro line out of there. And I'll know because it's going to have the word intro in the title. Then let me go back down to the one that I liked. I think it was this one. Let me listen again.
Top down, breeze blowing through the palm trees, sipping on freedom, living wild and carefree. Feet in the sand, backseat full of laughter. We were chasing time, never worried about after. Yeah. Sundays, heat waves, dancing off the blacktop. Tunes blasting, got the whole coast on lock. Venice to Laguna, every stop a new story. Rolling with the day like it's made for glory. Then I saw you, sun in your hair. Eyes like the ocean caught me unaware. One smile, I forgot where I was going. Heart skipped when the tide started flowing, yeah. Summer nights in SoCal, ride or die with my crew. Fell in love on a detour, never thought I'd find you. Bonfires and moonlight, feeling brand new. One kiss under starlight, yeah, you. Late night tacos, headlights on PC.
Okay, this is great. So this one I'm going to rename I'll call it fave, just so I know that's my favorite one. And so now I have basically one version where I kind of like the way it's sung in all the parts. Even though I didn't listen to the whole thing, I'll go back and listen to it offline, but it sounds really good to me. And I have one that has an intro that I can grab the intro from there and then use it. So I have two files I can work with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to download these as WAV files. And once I'm done getting these as WAV files, I will meet you guys back in FL Studio. Okay, so we're back in FL Studio. I have the two files downloaded that I want to use. And so what I'm going to do, this is how I might normally do something like this, is this is my arrangement from before. I'll create a new arrangement. We'll call it, I'm not going to copy anything into it. We'll call it work. And we'll get a new empty arrangement to use. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag the files over. But before I do, I'm going to shorten their name a bit. And I'm doing that off the screen just so it's on my secondary monitor. I'm going to call them SCS for SoCal Summers Intro and SCS Fave. And that's just to give them a shorter name, and you'll see why in a second. But I'm going to go ahead and drag the intro into this arrangement. And there it is. And then I'm going to drag the fave into this arrangement. And there it is. Okay. Now I'm going to hit save in my project, Control N, just to save it real quick. Let's bring up the browser. The reason why I drag them in here is now I have a copy in my project. So if I go to my current project, under samples, you can see SCS Intro and SCS Fave. So these are now inside of my project folder, and they'll be managed and saved there. And now when I want to work with them, I can also have the data that I extract from them also in my project folder. So the first thing I want to do is maybe go grab that intro one. I'm going to right click and say locate file. And off the screen, it loaded the file. Actually, it opened the folder rather. Then I'm going to start up StemRoller. Now, I know that FL Studio has a built-in stem separator. I like using StemRoller. It's faster, and it can do more parts. Not that I need it to do more parts in this case, but it can, and so just in case. So I'm going to take the intro, drop it in here, and I'm going to take the fave and drop it in here, and it's going to go ahead and start processing those. And it takes a minute just to get the processing started, because it's the first time it's loading the model, you know, the stuff it needs to do. But we're going to wait for that to finish. And there you can see it's starting to work. When it's done with the intro one, it will move on to the other one. There you go. And you can see there it goes. You can see how fast it's going, which is pretty fast. compared to the built-in one. Okay, so both of those are done. Now I can open the folders here, but just to show you back in the browser, if I reread this and look at the project data under the samples folder here, I now have an SES fave and SES intro, and within those I have all the parts. So you could see it split it into vocals, piano, other, original, instrumental, guitar, drums, and bass, and same for fave. Okay, so I'm mostly interested in the vocals. So I'm going to bring, so what I'm going to show you is how I would line up the vocals, because the vocals aren't going to be, well, they might be lined up by default. Let me see. Actually, I could test it here. We'll put the metronome on and we'll hit play on SC intro and we'll listen to how on or off beat the metronome is.
SoCal summers keep it going.
It's off, right? And I could see kind of this peak area here, this big area here should be lined up with a line, and presumably with this line here. So I'm going to move it over, and then I'm going to alt drag it so it lines up with this line, which is a bar line. And then let me hear how it's lined up now with the metronome.
SoCal summers keep it going. Music bumping on the radio, I'm feeling it. Oh, I'm feeling it. Top down, breeze blowing.
So it's lined up good right there. But what I need to do is I need to do that same thing. An update of Java. I need to do that same thing with the vocals. So I'm going to drag.
Top down.
I'm going
SoCal summers
to
keep.
drag the vocals over to the intro, and I'm going to line it up with this one here. There we go. So if I play these together, it should just have the vocals should be lined up perfectly.
SoCal summers keep it going.
Okay. So I only want, for this part, I only want the intro.
SoCal summers keep it going. Music bumping on the radio, I'm feeling it. Oh, I'm feeling it.
Okay, so I'm going to cut that first part. And unfortunately, it's going to be hard for me to line it up exact. So I'm going to cut it here. Pull that part off. And then when I copy it over into my arrangement, I'll know I'm off by one line essentially. Okay, so here in my arrangement, I'm going to drop it in. And then I'm going to drag it over. Whoop. Then I'm going to, dang it. I'm going to drag it over like that. Now, in this intro part, I don't necessarily want the whole thing playing because it's the intro after all. So I'm going to move this over just so I can work with it here. And I think all I want is maybe the chords playing.
SoCal summers keep it going. SoCal.
You know what? I'm not lined up. I'm definitely not lined up.
SoCal summers keep it going. Music bumping on the radio.
I think I might be off by one.
SoCal summers keep it going. Music bumping on the radio, I'm feeling it. Oh, I'm feeling it.
Yeah, so I'm off by one. I need to set, right? Let me zoom in. I need to set my time marker right here. So let me do that. I'll set a 4/4 time marker right there.
SoCal summers keep it going. Music bumping on the radio. I'm feeling it. Oh, I'm feeling it.
Okay, there we go. So that's what I wanted for my intro. After that, let me try to think. What would I do after that? Probably the verse is going to start right after that. I need to go grab the rest of the song. Let me do that. So I'll go back into my work section. I'm going to disable those two, and this is the one I'm going to need to align and work with. I'm going to attempt to align it like this. Should be aligned. Let me listen to it.
Top down, breeze blowing through the palm trees, sipping on freedom, living wild.
Yeah. Okay. So now I need to get the vocals for that. So the vocals were here. Let me line them up. So it should be something like that.
Top down, breeze blowing through the palm trees.
Actually, I think that might actually land on a line too. Let me see if I...
Top down.
Yeah, I think we're good actually. Let me go back to my arrangement. I think I could just paste them right there.
Music bumping on the radio, I'm feeling it. Oh, I'm feeling it. Top down.
Okay, no, it's coming in a little bit.
Music bumping on the radio, I'm feeling it. Oh, I'm feeling it. Top down, breeze. Music bumping on the radio, I'm feeling it. Oh, I'm feeling it. Top down.
Slightly off. Slightly off. Let me see.
Top. Top down, breeze blowing.
It's close there, but not quite. Maybe I need to hit it exactly.
Top down, breeze blowing through the palm trees, sipping on freedom, living wild and carefree. Feet in the sand, back seat full of laughter. We would.
All right. Let me bring in the beat.
Top down, breeze blowing through the palm trees, sipping on freedom, living wild and carefree. Feet in the sand, back seat full of. Top down, breeze blowing. Top down, breeze blowing through the palm trees, sipping on freedom, living wild and carefree. Feet in the sand, back seat full of laughter. We were chasing time, never worried about it. Top down. Top down, breeze blowing through the palm trees, sipping on freedom, living wild and carefree. Feet in the sand, back seat full of laughter. We were chasing time, never worried about after. Yeah.
Okay, so there we go. So I think I have them all lined up. And now it's going to be a matter of taking my chords, my drums, and my bass, and even the lead, which I'm not even sure where that's going to go. Could potentially go here, maybe.
Top down, breeze blowing through the palm trees, sipping on freedom, living wild and carefree. Feet in the sand, back seat full of laughter. We were chasing time, never worried about after. Yeah.
You know what? I'll probably do it like so. And I could chop up these vocals how I need to make space for the melody. You know, just do what I need to. But now this is where kind of the producer mode needs to come out, and I need to start thinking about how to arrange the song. And that's something I don't want to do while trying to narrate because it's going to take me out of it. So what I'm going to do is potentially uh, show you bits and pieces here or there, um, but I can't do the whole thing. It'll be way too long. This is not an instant process. But now I have things lined up. I have my original song. I have the words created to the song, and I can start thinking about how to put it all together. So in the next video, uh, you'll see where we get, I guess. So stay tuned.
The next morning.
Hey guys. Okay, so it's many hours later. When I started this video, it was yesterday. It was the day before today. I don't remember what time I started, but I know I stopped at just after midnight. So I worked on it quite a bit. You did see me create the initial portion of it with the chord progression and the basic parts to it. You did see me put that audio into Suno, and you did see me put the words into Suno to create the performance of the song. I showed you a little bit in Suno of how I tried to make it sound a certain way and kind of the vision I had for certain parts of it. And just to recap, you put it in Suno, you get what you get. You can't 100% control it. So I had to do many generations to find one that I liked enough to say, yeah, that's the one I want to use, right? So it's not a simple one click and you're done. You got to kind of work at it a little bit in terms of, using credits and using your ear to find what resonates with yourself when you're doing this. Okay. One thing I did not show you is that in Suno you can actually do things like, let me just see if I can bring one up. I have about 20 generations of various things. But you can do things like go into the song editor and replace a section. So the way Suno works, this is actually a cropped portion of the song. Let me go back and go into it. Here it is. This is the original one that I told you I was going to use. Replace section. So you could see Suno lays it out for me, and what I did is I replaced a few things, and the reason why I did it was because the vocals in the original, maybe they didn't come out as clear as I would have liked them to. There is an AI after effect in the vocals to a degree. Sometimes it's not strong and sometimes it is strong. So when it's really strong, I just try to recreate it. But let's say, for example, I wanted to recreate this chorus. I could just highlight it and then select it down here. And I could hit generate replacements and it'll redo this section of the song. I could even change the words if a word didn't feel right or maybe got pronounced wrong. I could redo it and get it. Once you've done generating the replacements, you would select it and it will make a new song with that change in it. All the other parts are the same. So you can see in my list here I've got up to replacement number 8. That one has a thumbs up. Replacement number 2 has a thumbs up. So of all those replacements, I may have used those two. I think I replaced the second chorus and the bridge, and maybe a bit of the outro. I don't really remember all the changes I did, but I don't want to go through it all with you guys. I just wanted to show you this feature of Suno to help you understand how far it's come, because this wasn't in there when I made my original video on Suno. So it's really nice that you can do this. Another thing Suno does is it can do what's called a cover, and in the cover you can give it more information. So for example, um, the original song sounded something like this.
Top down, breeze blowing through the palm trees, sipping on freedom, living wild and carefree, feet in the sand, backseat full of laughter.
Right? And then I could create a cover, but with differences to it, like in this case, female vocals.
Top down, breeze blowing through the palm trees, sipping on freedom, living wild and carefree.
So that's another thing you can do to try to tweak your lyrics into the way you want it. I had an idea for a minute to try to make this song like a duet where the male and female will go back and forth about their summer love or whatever, right? But it didn't work out for me that way. So anyway, back in the song, I've got the various parts which I've cut up and put in here. They're labeled so you can see how they're what they're called and what they represent. And then on the side, on the patterns here, you can see whereas before I had a chord, one chord pattern, I now have four chord patterns, and they're just variations of the original. I'm going to play a short snippet just to give you a sense of the change. So the first one, this is the original. Another thing I forgot to mention is I doubled up the guitar part, and I panned one right and one left just to kind of make it a little beefier. But that's the original chord part. Then I made a variation where I just do the chord once at the beginning of the bar. Then I did one that had a mutes, chord mutes in it. And finally I did one with both strums and mutes in it. Right, so now I have four chord parts, and they're all variations of the original. So that just adds interest as I put them together in the arrangement. And I'll use various parts in various parts of the song. The original bass line was this one here. Very basic. Most of my bass lines are pretty basic. I don't spend a lot of time trying to make intricate bass lines, although occasionally I try, but this isn't one of those occasions. But the original bass line goes like this, just to remind you. And then the second bass line just holds the note. There's the original drum part, which went something like this. It was just hat, snare, and kick. Right? And then from that, I did some variations also just to put at different parts, which I'll just play those for you real quick just to give you a sense of what's added. And then I added this, I took out the tom fill. I took out the tom fill that was at the end of the original drum beat, and I just made it kind of its own little pattern here, so I could stick it in various places of the song. It's the same fill throughout. Now, yeah, maybe a different fill would add interest to it, et cetera, but I wasn't trying to go there. I just wanted to add a fill into the next section. I did add some symbols, drag some symbols onto the playlist just to accentuate a bit in the chorus section. Um, I also had the original lead. I did add another instrument to layer into it, but to remind you, the original lead sounded like this. And yeah, so that was the original lead. I did also add some delay to it. And then I added some ad libs in some of the areas where there was lesser vocals. For example, over here in this verse, you can see, like right here, there's some singing and then there's an empty spot, some singing and then an empty spot, like that, right there and right there. So what I did is in those empty spots, I added these ad libs to play, and those ad libs are in the right key, but they're just, I actually played these on my keyboard and then fixed any notes that were out of place, but those sound like this. Right, so those will go in between the words there, and that's their purpose. Oh, I did add a basic piano part up here, and that's just to fill in with some sound. It's not really meant to provide anything of interest, just to kind of beef up the track and support it kind of in the background. Not not unlike a pad might do, but I didn't want to put a pad in this one because it kind of had a more acoustic-y, uh, light country sound to it, which I wanted to keep. So um, the piano part's also just the basic chords. And really, that's pretty much everything. So using all those parts and the vocals laid out, I was able to complete the track. Now, the mix is not necessarily finalized. I will probably listen to this in a day or two and then try to figure out what sounds like it needs work and do it. But the overall arrangement and the basic levels and basic mix is all pretty much there. Within the mixer here, I've created a vocal mix where all my vocals go into this track. This track's sidechained into the instrument mix where all the other instruments, except for the drums, go into here. And then there's a drum mix where all the drums go into here. And then I have the drums laid out for kicks, snares, hats, toms, claps, and cymbals. And so you could see in my mixer, I've labeled everything, and yeah, and so that's pretty much what we're dealing with. I did add ozone to do a little bit of mastering to it. I have it turned down to about 1/4, just because I don't want it too strong of a mastering sound to it, but just enough to kind of sonically boost it a little bit. And that's really everything there. Now, my whole point in making this video was so that you can see how I leverage Suno, and and that it's not about clicking one button and having a song come out that's done with no interaction. Okay. Um, I mean, you saw me put the words in, you saw me create the basic elements of the track, and then generate the words. And then I took those words and cut them up as I described, put them together here in the playlist, and then built everything around that. Um, and to me, that's very satisfying. I cannot sing, so being able to put words into my music is something that I appreciate. And I think I use this tool in a way that, quite honestly, makes me want to make more music, because I was kind of in a dead spot prior where I was like, I'm creating all these quote beats and tracks, but what am I really doing with it? And I tried rapping on a few things that I've done. I've tried uh, singing here or there and using auto tune, and it just isn't the same. As much as I wish I could do those things better, the AI does it better than I can. So that's why I use it as a tool. And now you know exactly how I use it. So I'm going to go ahead and play the song and let you hear the almost end result. Like I said, the mix is probably going to change a bit, but I just wanted you guys to hear it, and hopefully you'll find it to be a decent little track, and see how I came from what I started with to what I finished with, and appreciate that for what it is. So let's take a listen.
SoCal summers keep it going. Music bumping on the radio. I'm feeling it. Oh, I'm feeling it. Top down, breeze blowing through the palm trees. Sipping on freedom, living wild and carefree. Feet in the sand, backseat full of laughter. We were chasing time, never worried about after. Yeah. Sundays, heat waves dancing off the blacktop. Tunes blasting, got the whole coast on lock. Venice to Laguna, every stop a new story. Rolling with the day like it's made for glory. Then I saw you, sun in your hair. Eyes like the ocean caught me unaware. One smile, I forgot where I was going. Heart skipped when the tide started flowing. Yeah. Summer nights in SoCal, ride or die with my crew. Fell in love on a detour, never thought I'd find you. Bonfires and moonlight, feeling brand new. One kiss under starlight, yeah, you. Late night tacos, headlights on PCH. Your hand in mine, didn't wanna turn the page. Dancing in flip-flops, strangers turning friends. Felt like the magic would never end. Laughing in 7-Elevens, cherry slush stains. Skating through dreams, caught in no lanes. You were the calm in the chaos we made. A little peace in the heat wave haze. Didn't plan it, didn't need a sign. You just showed up and shifted my mind. Now it's you and me and a whole coastline burning bright in the sweetest time. Yeah. Summer nights in SoCal, ride or die with my crew. Fell in love on a detour, never thought I'd find you. Bonfires and moonlight, feeling brand new. One kiss under starlight, yeah, you. No map, no rules, just waves and tunes.